is the first. And the race aim. Buttermaker came out smooth on the outside. Forsaken with speed next to the rail, and Real Good Magic is working up a speed potion to make it a line of 3. After that, Majestic Kraken, 5 out of it, shoved on. And Bucking again is 5 lengths from the lead. 5 covered by 5 with 3 to go. Forsaken is number 1 and in first. Forsaken a half. Forsaken and Eddie G traveling along okay. Real Good Magic being pushed on and joining. 3 wide is Buttermaker, hoping not to melt. 7 after that, Bucking again, who just put Majestic Kraken in last, and they're coming home now. Real Good Magic attacks Forsaken. The one still has something left in the tank. On the outside, Bucking again is running into third. It is Forsaken and Real Good Magic locked in battle down to the wire to start things on a Saturday. Real Good Magic, Hocus Pocus, wins the first. Racing. That firster, Pretty Bougie, was off in last. Zen Dreams, her stablemate, came out nicely. So did Drama Speaker at 2.5 to 1. But it's the gray Kava in the turf debut at 6 to 1, grabbing the lead. As they approach the first turn, the quartet is covered by 7 lengths. And they're chasing Jermaine Bridgemahan and Kava. It is Kava leading it by a half. In second, Drama Speaker biding the time as they go around the first turn, and that one is just about a half length behind the Pretty Gray, and 1.5 getting close to 2 clear from Zen Dreams. Zen Dreams is joined by the stablemate Pretty Bougie, and they race in 2 packs of 2 as they head up the Canterbury Park turf course. 5, 6, 1, 3, and that 5 Kava is the gray next to the rail, leading it by a head. Drama Speaker applies more pressure to the outside. After that, Zen Dreams being niggled at a tad by the leading man responding to. And the firster, Pretty Bougie, is now 4, 5 lengths from the lead. Off the far turn and the tempo increases. It's Kava. Kava leads it by a neck. Longest shot on the board of the 4 at 6 to 1. It's Kava leading it now by a half length. Outside of that, Drama Speaker. Zen Dreams being guided to the outside by Hernandez, 4 lengths in arrears. Then it's Pretty Bougie. Here comes Drama Speaker, and on the inside is Kava still trying to hold on, and Zen Dreams jumping up and down to the outside. Up goes Drama Speaker, and there's no drama at the wire with this one. Drama Speaker best. And they're racing. Gotta Try Mischief from the center, pops out with speed inside. Hey, Look Me Over takes up the running in second. Sweet Music outside of Hey, Look Me Over, 2.5 clear from the woman. Then we come to Royal Integrity, 5, 6 out of it, about to be joined by Twin Empire to the inside. And the one in last is Melania T, 9 lengths rearmost and chasing Gotta Try Mischief at 5 to 1. Gotta Try Mischief from Sweet Music, the even money favorite. After that, Hey, Look Me Over, 5 out of it to the inside of Woman, and 2.5 away from Twin Empire. Then it's Royal Integrity, and Melania T still is in last. Sweet Music makes a big move on Gotta Try Mischief. Sweet Music outside of Gotta Try Mischief and they are 7 clear from a woman into the final furlong. Sweet Music, the People's Choice, living up to that even money hype and running away from Gotta Try Mischief. After that, woman and Melania T with a late charge, but it is 2-5-7 in race number 3, or 2-7-5, that place photo. And they're racing. Keen beginning, and nobody really keen to get on with that early speed. Hidden Profit flashes speed at 7-1. Here comes 30 seconds out at 22-1 from 5th right up to the lead as they approach the first turn. 30 seconds out, and Fausto da Silva kick clear by 1.5, make it 2. After that, Hidden Profit about the same margin clear from Commissioner Oscar, who tracks coyly and in the clear. 2 lengths behind that, we have Jaka. That one's to the inside, sequestered next to Super Wise. Outside of that, Irish Heatwave on a sultry Saturday in Shakopee. Then we come back to Crafty King, and the one in last is Mystifier, last and 10 lengths from the lead. And with a half-mile to go as they zing into the far turn at 22-1, 30 seconds out is 3 furlongs out from a huge upset. It is 30 seconds out, continuing to tug them along. Commissioner Oscar senses the warning call, being pushed on but cutting into the lead. After that, Hidden Profit waiting for the light of day. Irish Heatwave is swinging into action, circumnavigating but definitely on the move. Super Wise is blocked and pinned by Crafty King, and now they come charging down the Canterbury Park stretch, and it's Commissioner Oscar putting the head in front. On the inside, Mystifier, ooh, just got stopped. Commissioner Oscar, Irish Heatwave. Outside is Crafty King and a resurgent Hidden Profit. Commissioner Oscar, Hidden Profit. The Commissioner is in a tight photo. Racing. Aeromax was off a couple of beats slowly. Great beginning for Indy Freedom with terrific early speed. Coach Sam P with good speed, likewise for Boss Down. After that, Midnight Royal, 4 lengths from kind of a fast early pace, and 6 away from Aeromax, who's beginning to advance. Daxa Dreaming is third last, 2.5 clear from Supreme Leader, and the one in last is the stretch running Score McCoy, who would have to score from 15 lengths out of it. Early pace hot. Indy Freedom leads at 1.5. Outside is Boss Down. The rider has the orange colors. Right behind the leader, Midnight Royal, looking to sneak through to the inside but cannot get through. Coach Sam P is 4th and 5 out of it. 2.5, 3 lengths clear from Supreme Leader. Then we come to Aeromax. After that, Daxa Dreaming. Score McCoy beginning to run on from 13 lengths out of it. Around about the quarter pole, Indy Freedom at 8-5 is loose on the lead. Indy Freedom kicks that leading margin to 5, make it 6. Midnight Royal spinning the wheels. Score McCoy is closing home fast on the outside, just angled to the outside of Supreme Leader, but is too far behind to catch Indy Freedom, who is gone. Indy Freedom with an absolutely dominating performance. racing. Holy coffee, caffeinated with that early speed. A Rose and Wine looks to leave them punch drunk, and Taking It All is taking the lead. Taking It All comes steaming through between runners to grab the lead, about 3.5 clear from Noel's Angel. 3 after that to Shack Stateside, about 5-6 lengths from the front. Pink Ace next to that one, and Miss Carmen Sebo is 8 lengths rearmost. Taking It All looking to take all of the purse, leading it by 3 from Holy Coffee, A Rose and Wine, and Noel's Angel. After that, Shack Stateside, Pink Ace heads outside for the stretch run, and still nothing from Miss Carmen Sebo. Taking It All runs away by 5. Taking It All at 8-1 leads it from an on-charging A Rose and Wine. Outside of that, Miss Carmen Sebo. Taking It All impressively, gate to wire. And they're racing, and they've broken a perfect line. Kingdom City and Harry Hernandez at 3-1, out fast, securing the inside. Pastor Dave 7-1, that one's good to go. After that, Mo Dinger's about 3-4 lengths from the lead, and Kingdom City leads it by right around 2 around the first turn. Latin Force at 3-2 begins to advance, 4 lengths from the front and running by Mo Dinger's. Behind that one is It's Miles. Then we come to West Dakota, 4 wide around the turn, but passing Heavenly Deacon, and inside of that, Airmail Flyer. 9 lengths covers them, and they're chasing Kingdom City. Kingdom City does it reasonably, leads it 1.5. In second lay Pastor Dave. After that, Latin Force. This one is 0 for 27 and is very keen to go. 2 lengths from the lead. Said Trio is 5 clear from Mo Dingers, now joined by Airmail Flyer, who's on the move. Outside of that, West Dakota. Behind them, Heavenly Deacon. It's Miles is in last and 10 lengths behind Kingdom City. Kingdom City at 2.5-1, trying to take them wire to wire. Kingdom City is still clear. Pastor Dave shoved on by Roman. Latin Force out in the clear. Even wider out, West Dakota's firing. After that, we come back about 2-3 lengths to Heavenly Deacon, and up goes Latin Force. Latin Force with a burst. This one is 0 for 27, and tonight is the night. And with a force, Latin Force says goodbye. Racing. Number 1, Haunted Haze, broken a tangle, stumbled shortly after the start. No problems out of the gate for the speedy Central Park off the layoff. Central Park at 6-1 takes the lead by a neck, pressured by Crocodile Hunter right alongside. 2.5, 3 lengths back to Haunted Haze on the move after the bad start, and to the inside of Brandon. Then we come to Ultimate, making a move on the outside, 7 lengths from the lead. Further evidence, second last, and Big Hammer is at the rear. Big Hammer 9 lengths rearmost. Middle of the turn and approaching the top of the stretch. Central Park, the veteran, continues to show the way. Crocodile Hunter applies pressure. Haunted Haze in third, about 4 out of it after the bad start. Then we come to Brandon, who's languishing. Behind them, Ultimate. Up goes Crocodile Hunter. Central Park trying to fight back. Haunted Haze running a brave one after the bad start. It is Crocodile Hunter at 8-5. Crocodile Hunter has won 2 in a row. 4, and a photo for the show that goes to Haunted Hayes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Paul Quinn honors America with the singing of the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. On the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome to Canterbury Park. 7-race package tonight where the main track is fast and the turf course is firm. Take out your program. We'll go through tonight's changes. No changes in race 1. On to race 2 where we have one scratch. In race 2, scratch number 2, syntactic. Race 2, scratch the 2. Race 3 begins our 10% takeout pick 5, and we have one scratch in the third. Scratch number 5, first tequila. Race 3, the start of the pick 5, scratch the 5. Race 4 is clean. In race number 5, please note number 8, Nick's Honor, is a gelding. Number 8, Nick's Honor, now a gelding. Races 6 and 7, those are clean. And again, we're fast and we're firm, and post time is in 45 minutes. And here we are inside the First Bet studio. I'm Jeff Madej. I'm joined by Amber Carlisle. Amber is the senior manager of racing operations. So in other words, she runs the racetrack. That's how I like to refer to you, as the woman that runs the racetrack. Amber, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So let's get down to business here, and let's talk about the heat, because heat's been a topic. It's been a topic not just today, where we've moved our post time from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock, but we've lost a couple of other days due to extremely high temperatures. Now, today is not as hot as it was those 2 days in June, but what goes into the decision to either postpone racing to a later hour or to cancel altogether?
Yes, we look at the forecasted heat index as best as we can and try to make the most informed decision for our horse people and our horses. Safety is our number one priority. We made the decision last night in order to give everyone a significant amount of time heads up to know what their day would bring today and let all of their staff know, like, hey, you can take a break during the day, we'll come back later. And it's just to let everyone know that we care about everyone's safety. You know, we have a lot of people that are out there for the entirety of the card in the extreme heat, in the sun, and we're looking out for them.
No, you're right, and I think that's something that has to be taken into account. And then people will say, well, why don't you start at 8 o'clock? Well, one of the reasons is that our turf course is not lit, right? And a lot of people don't realize that, including me sometimes. I'll say, like I was saying to Randy Sampson, let's just start at 8. And he said, what about the turf? And then it's like, I just kind of slunk away back to my office. But we have to run when there's still daylight. You don't want to cut it too close because there could be delays. So that's another factor that you have to consider.
Yes, our turf course is a huge asset for us, and we utilize it to the most of its capability as we can. We also have a lot of horses that are turf-only horses, so if we took the races off the turf, those horses may scratch, and that affects their scheduling when they're training. It aggravates owners, aggravates trainers, and it's just a major inconvenience. So rescheduling and accommodating the horse people to the best we can is a top priority for us.
I think you've done a great job with that, and you've done a great job. Really, we just came off of our kind of mid-meet break. I think we had a really good first half.
Yes, it was really good. It was very safe. All of our people here have been here for quite some time, so they know their duties and their responsibilities, and fortunately we have a program that is operating like a well-oiled machine or a well-trained racehorse, just in the groove. Everyone gets along so well, and it was a really good first half.
It is interesting. You're right. And I was remiss in not mentioning the llamas. Llama lovers, don't worry. We've rescheduled the llama and unicorn races for Sunday, August 24th. But you're right. I mean, I've worked here for a long time. And I've seen people come and go in all sorts of departments, and there is a unity in your racing office, and that makes a lot of difference because you're working a lot of hours. We're racing at 6 o'clock. Well, you guys were there before 8 o'clock this morning taking entries. That's a long day. You ask a lot of people, and some of your staff is outside. They're working outside in the heat. They're working in the morning on the gate crew. Maybe they're working on the track in the morning. They're back in the evening working again. So you do ask a lot of them. It's important that they all get along.
Yes, and we have a very dedicated team, but making sure that everyone is happy at work is a priority of mine, and making sure that everyone feels heard and safe and appreciated is a goal. So understanding that some people work double-digit hour days every day and they're happy to do it, don't want to take that for granted ever.
No, that's cool, and I always have my ear to the ground, and the backside has a lot of good things to say about your department, so that's cool. What should we look forward to? We've only got, I don't know, I hate to count the days, 20-some days left, but what should we look forward to?
Yeah, getting in the second half of our meet here, and after the break that we took, we have a lot of new horses that have been shipping in, and a lot of horses that are just now getting ready to make their first start of their career. If not coming from a layoff, they're getting ready to make their first start from that. So we'll have a lot of new horses running that haven't been running at the meet yet. So we'll have some freshness to the races.
Good. We'll get to see some of our better Minnesota breds, the Derby and the Oaks. We'll see a lot more 2-year-old racing. Hopefully, we lead up to Festival Day. A lot of exciting things, and the racing has been extremely competitive, I believe, this year, and that shows up in some of the mutual payouts. Let's take a look though at the jockey colony. Harry Hernandez. We missed him last year. He was fun to have around for those 2 seasons that he won the title. He went elsewhere last year, found that he did well, but I think this is a place where he really feels comfortable, feels at home, is accepted by everyone, and has a great time, and obviously wins a lot of races. But you've got to be pleased with this jockey colony. I think we started with 22 riders, and top to bottom, probably the deepest we've had. Like you say, if you get rider number 15, you've got a good rider, and that's not always true everywhere.
Yeah, we definitely have a talented crew this year. They all try so hard, and they're such great riders. They're very safe. They look out for each other. They show appreciation to each other, so it's good to have camaraderie and unity in the jockeys room. Good
guys, and they always are willing to help out the media department, do interviews with our team, and so that's cool, and it makes it a lot of fun because we are all a team here working together. The trainers. Now, you've got to be happy because you're responsible, along with Rob Junk, the racing secretary, for getting races full. to be happy with that 95 next to Jose Silva Jr. He's certainly brought horses ready to race.
Yes, and he's a great participator, great supporter of our meet. We really appreciate that. We appreciate all of our trainers. You know, we couldn't do it without them, and the fact that they're willing to run their horses often helps us out.
Yeah, and you have a wide array. It's not easy to write a condition book. I mean, when you look at it and then you look at the overnight, for those that don't pay attention or don't look at those things, I mean, you got the races. Here's the main body of the races, and here's these extras where you're trying to you've got all these pieces and you're trying to put them into that puzzle so you can give me, the gambler, and the rest of us a great product to bet on. And that's worked. It's not easy though, and that's the kind of thing that nobody sees. You don't see that. We only see the finished product. There's a lot more that you're doing back there. So I think it's been great. And Jose's having a very good meet. You know, Tim Padilla also. Joel Burnt is winning races right now like crazy. Mac, Cody, Tony, that list goes on and on. So it's been a fun, very competitive meet. Now we're going to get Mr. Larry Donlin into the winner's circle soon. $9.99. The guy, he's a great guy. He's a character. If you have a time to sit down and talk to him, he's got so much history, 60, 70 years in racing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's seen a lot, and he loves telling stories. We love listening to his stories, but it's great to have some background about where our industry started and how far it's come in that amount of time.
Yeah, the things he's seen, and I can't wait for him to get win number 1,000. I think he's got more than that because he raced before they really started. I mean, I don't want to make him, he's not prehistoric, folks. I mean, but he raced before some races were recorded at tracks that maybe weren't recognized as tracks in Nebraska and here and there. But he's going to get that 1,000 official, and it could happen tonight. He's got a couple of shots tonight. Here's a look at our live racing schedule. We got the same thing that we've been doing. No Thursday this coming week, right? So Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yes, we're taking Thursdays off this week, but then we'll come back August 7th and August 21st. We'll have a quarter horse heavy card, which are always exciting races. But yeah, we're getting close to the end of the meet, unfortunately.
Yeah, I hate to think that we're into August. And the races, I took a little peek at the races, and they look pretty good for next week. So a lot of great betting opportunities. Of course, music opportunities. We just had Killer Queen over the weekend, and now Blue Oyster Cult, July 31st. That's a Thursday night concert. Pretty good show. I went back and looked at their set list from a couple nights ago, wherever they played, and it's heavy. It's heavy. It's the early stuff. Very good. Tickets at canterburypark.com. I've got a bet of the day, and I'll go through it really quickly. It's a pick three, and a pick three is picking 3 consecutive winners. You can put as many horses in each leg as you want, but it costs more when you do that. I'm going to start out, and this is in race number 2 with the pick 3. I've got a single of number 3, Mr. Muldoon, probably going to be a big favorite. I think race number 3 is deep. That's the middle leg. I go 1, 2, 3, and 6. I think I've got things covered. I've got a 12-1 in there from the Rican barn, who could pay and pay well. And then Bruce Rican also prominent, I think, in race number 4, where he's got Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, who he kept it because he thought it was a turf horse. He's tried to run on the turf twice, has not been able to get on the turf. Tonight he does. That horse is live, and so is What's Your Objective, and that one's trained by Joel Burnt. So that's my pick 3. You can go to the teller and just make that play. You also can bet on the pick 5. It's the lowest takeout in the nation. I know you're proud of that. We both have lobbied hard to keep that bet because it's become our calling card, and people like it. They know that that's what we're here for. We changed it. We tried starting in race number 2 every day. I don't think it did. It's not that it didn't work, but we could get some deeper races later in the card. So now we just start it when there are 5 races remaining. It's always the last 5 races of the night. So tonight it's going to be race number 3. I think it's a really good sequence, and the pools get big. What's this?
Looks like that's how many wins the TCU Horned Frogs are expected to win this year, which is less than last year. So I'm very surprised. We have a very, very deep Horned Frog team this year. So.
Really? Well, weren't they in the national championship?
Yes.
Now we're talking 7 wins?
Fun fact, they're the only college football team from Texas to make the national championship in football.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that fun fact. I'm going to have to follow TCU. So are you telling us, though, that if we were in a state where you could wager on sports, you're saying just hammer the over? That 7 is kind of a low number.
Absolutely. Double-digit wins this year. I'm very confident.
So you could even tease it up to 10 if you wanted to. Amber, thanks a lot for joining me. I know you've got to get down to the paddock. You'll see her down there every race day. Another person who has to work outside all night, but she loves it here. We're lucky to have Amber. The season's been great. It's going to get better. Canterbury Park Racing, we're not going anywhere. Coming up next is Today at the Races. It's brought to you by Touchdown Tile. Angela Herman joins Paul Allen. They're in the hot tub. They're going to give you 7 winners. Have fun. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's hot in this city, the city of Shakopee, Minnesota. Welcome to Canterbury Park. 6 o'clock racing on a Sunday at Canterbury. Angela Herman, Paul Allen, on behalf of our television department, welcome to the show. Yeah, that's us, Canterbury Park, 6 o'clock Central on a Sunday. We'd like to welcome those in from, say, Mountaineer, Penn National, Meadowlands Harness, maybe some Rosecroft, Assiniboia, all the night tracks. We have joined the fray because of weather, but at least there's a fray to join with our 7 races, and great having you here.
Yeah, we're with you. And if you're playing Del Mar, you're making a little bit of money, they put a lot of time between their races. So take a look at us, because we're fast, we're firm, we're extremely warm tonight, but there's only 2 scratches in the midst of the 7 race card. We got 10% takeout on our pick 5. That's going to start a little bit later in the card. But 7 of them, and we talked about it before the races, intriguing and some different possibilities in different races with some horses trying something new for the first time. We got 2-year-olds in the mix, and the Sunday card that did have some llamas and unicorns in it, those will be run in August, is very much still an interesting betting card, and I wanted to see your thoughts on it, so I'm glad I get to do this with you.
Well, let's begin with a question. The question would be, all right, so standalone situation tonight, 6 o'clock Central, go till about 9. Canterbury, never in the Mountaineer, Penn National, Rosecroft meat grinder, but here we are. So say the track, for whatever the reason, mostly off track, undoubtedly, say we handle $2 or $3 million tonight, all right? That would be unbelievable.
That would be wonderful.
Happened.
Let's make it happen.
Would you say Sundays now go to 6 o'clock? Because I say no chance with the Sampsons due to the family day vibe, right?
I would agree with that because we do run night racing Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and that is to stay off more of the national tracks and to get into a soft spot where there isn't a lot of racing. But on Sundays, it's kind of hard to avoid because there are those night tracks that you just mentioned, that roster that you put together along with Del Mar at this time of year, and Sunday day tracks. But it falls into a nice spot with families, with people coming back from the cabin during the summer. I don't think that's changing anytime soon, but we do hope for a good night tonight. We thank you for being here with us, as it was a schedule change that came about with the forecast, which is always changing, so it can be a little bit last minute, but we're glad that you're here with us.
Well, just think about it for a second, because specifically in 2025, we've run here since 95, and Family Day, specifically Sunday, has been the identity of the racetrack.
Yeah.
Now, in this climate of horse racing, for whatever the reason, we jump out there, handle $2 or $3 million. I'm telling you right now that there's going to be some executive on the first floor Monday through Thursday saying, families overrated.
I'm not going to say that it's not going to be an idea crossing anybody's mind, but there are too many activities. There's too many fun things that we get planned through the Sundays. Maybe we could rotate them in the future. Who knows? Maybe we go back and forth with a couple family Sundays a month and a couple adult Sundays a month. I don't know. Maybe toss that one around and see how it goes tonight. We'll go from there.
Family Day generally at 1 o'clock. Probably never will change here. It's horsies and billies and ice cream and track running.
And dog races and ponies.
and llamas.
And pomplos and mice.
And speaking of bosses and or executives, kudos to our Canterbury Park management team, specifically John Gruen. But the reason we say that is we had to move post time to 6 o'clock, as Angela said, because of that this heat. Kevin Gorg, who's generally in that spot and also does work in the paddock, gives you the power play and does the the quick trip clip. Which I think I'm doing.
He clips too, wherever you are.
So last night when we learned racing is going to go to 6 o'clock, it was like, all right. And there's one person like, and like, Kevin, what happened? Well, he has tickets to see a comedian named Nate Bargatze at XL Energy Center, and the bosses said go, which is super cool, don't you think?
I do. I had a little slip out on my birthday to go meet Brandon Boyd. We all get one pass a year or so. You have plans like this. Things change unexpectedly. That's why we're a team. We can fill in for each other and cover each other when such things like that do come about and a last-minute post-time change is in play. And Kevin, we still do not race on Thursday. Keep that in mind. We do not race this Thursday, but keep an eye on your calendars for any upcoming Thursdays because they are still in the mix. What do you say we get to the Sunday evening program?
And I bet you we can say hello to Kevin Gorg right now. He's probably watching us going $100 bills. Kitsuyama.
Pizza party.
He's a good kitty. It's steamy. This is a sultry Sunday in Shakopee. It's a Sunday steamer, and we got 7 fast and firm. First race, no scratches, no rider changes. Pepper and Mint's trying to win 2 in a row. Haute Charlotte is the 9 to 5 morning line favorite. Angela's Pen landed on number 5, Miss Stilettos. I took that one second. Harry, the leading rider, aboard Miss Stilettos. What led you to that one?
Just looking for the speed of the speed. And when, you go through some of these races and all of their best races have been when they're controlling the pace, you just try to take the one, for me, that's landed furthest outside. You can stay out of trouble and see what's going on to your left. And that maybe is getting a bit of relief, and she is getting class relief in here. Her speed is going to carry her a bit further. I think she should be able to stay out of any tough spots on the inside. And Miss Stilettos with Harry Hernandez, I think, in the saddle might be even more close than she's been recently, and it hasn't been too far off the pace. So I think those might be the 3 things that she needs to get over the hump and get that next win.
Ain't no doubt. And I took her second. I took Haute Charlotte first, not making a win bet on this one because winning has been a problem for her. But she, I'm not saying she's a sucker horse, but she runs well pretty much every time, gets close, and then gets chasers like me to think, the next time's going to be the next time.
You and me both.
And then all of a sudden I'm stuck like 140. But nevertheless, I'm going to take that one on top. Miss Stiletto second, Pepper and Mint third to begin race number 1. Let me ask you a question about number 1, Empress Lorraine.
What do you got?
Because we have these 3 short prices here in Pepper and Mint. Haute Charlotte and 3.5 to 1 with your selection, Miss Stilettos, who I think is going to be closer to 2 or 5 to 2. I think she's going to be a little steamy with that speed. Empress Lorraine could get lost in the wagering, and the only reason I bring it up is because you have that class drop. There's just a significant difference in the level of competition. Exacta, trifecta, superfecta. Would you do anything with that one?
When you get into a field size like this, I tend to stay away more from the superfectas. It's a little
Yep.
bit shorter field.
point.
She is going to be a longer price. So if you do like her, even consider using her for exactas. If you do like her in the spot, you think she can pick up the pieces because she's going to go a shorter distance, just take a chance and maybe use her underneath. I would not use her on top just because she has done her better work close to the front end. But those were 2-turn races. So until Empress Lorraine can adapt to doing what she's doing today, and she hasn't done that in recent times, I have to be using her underneath. But the number will be right and better than either one of the horses that you or I mentioned, because they're a little more on the logical end of things. Empress Lorraine would need to change some things around, but that's not out of the question, and just start 12.
Great point. Second race to the turf, firm turf course. Rail is 10 feet out. Scratch number 2, Syntactic. We have some streakers here. Number 1, Words of Wisdom is looking to win 5 in a row. Mr. Muldoon's looking to win 2 in a row. And Chromed Impulse is looking to win 3 in a row. I've asked Kevin this question a couple of times during the season. Can't say that that I've ever asked the third member of the Steam team, Miss Angela Herman, the same question, because it's been long form now, these turf results at Canterbury Park. I mean, we had a superfecta pay $1,300 yesterday or a couple of days ago. The prices of the superfectas, trifectas, and really the average win payoff, it started astronomical, and then it slowed down a little bit, and then it picked up again. With these turf races, whether it's a 5-horse field or a 12-horse field, why do you think all of these long shots are happening?
Well, we just don't get that many 5-horse fields on the turf, if we're being honest.
Right.
But you get some turf horses that might go to different parts of the country just because there's limited big spots for some of these turf horses at certain points of the summer. So you get more evenly matched groups. And when you take turf racing on very different turf courses, Turf Paradise Tampa, where all of these guys are over the winter, they don't always establish an affinity on this turf course until they do it at a price. That's one of the fun things. Unless you find a horse like a Mr. Muldoon that's proven that he loves it, that he steps up his game over it, and that really he's a different horse over this turf than he is over any other surface. You can find a horse, and I have one a little bit later in the card, that could still be an appealing number, but have every bit of a right to like that surface and like it just as much as any other horse in the group that's going to be more heavily bet. They don't spend enough time up here to necessarily become turf monsters at Canterbury.
Right.
So in early on condition sort of races like this, I mean, there's some horses that have only run over it a handful of times. They might like it, but they might get overbet. You might have a horse that's got a rough trip, a couple of rough trips, and they might go off at a bigger number. That's the sort of things you get with summer meets that bring together diverse groups of horses from around the country. They just might change up their form year to year. They might like one surface more than the other. It's one of the complex elements of this meet, and especially the turf racing, as to why it leads to some of those big payouts.
Now this is a 5-horse field, so like spotting up with a giant win bet probably won't happen here, but who knows? But I'm super excited for this race, and here's why. Because Mr. Muldoon's going to be below even money. And Mr. Muldoon is 4 for 7 at Canterbury on the turf and 4 for 6 at the distance on the turf. That horse with Harry aboard and off a 3.5 length win is going to get crushed. All right, that's cool. I picked Mr. Muldoon first. I picked it 3-6-1. Here's what excites me. Words of Wisdom is razor sharp right now, and that victory at 7/8 off a little bit of a layup, that was quite convincing against cheaper, but nevertheless, you don't the horse just takes who they put in front of him and either loses or wins. But Words of Wisdom 0 for 7 on the turf, so there's a barrier through which that one has to push. Chromed Impulse, great claim by Nick Goodwin, by the way. $5,000 claim at Tampa Bay Downs in April. Come back, get some money back third. Then they had a problem, their debut at Canterbury, but then boom, boom, win-win. This one I think will get overlooked because Betty Jo Williams, with all due respect, just doesn't ride as many horses as a lot of the other riders. So I think this one's going to be 5-1 or higher, maybe, looking to win 3 in a row and doing a really, really good job, 1 for 2 on the turf. I go 3-6-1. I think this one, as you like to say, short on numbers, long on intrigue.
Yeah, I went 3, 6, and 5. We saw it pretty much the same, but I liked your point on Words of Wisdom. He is razor sharp, and even though he hasn't won on the turf, he's 0 for 7. This is when you want to try it again. When the horse is doing his absolute best, has an inside post, has some speed. If he's going to show anything on the turf, it ought to be in this spot. And he'll have his hands full, but I think that this is definitely, like you said, a good time to try.
And Harry, the leading rider, is about 29-30% on the turf, 28-29-30. Nevertheless, they're all kind of the same, and they're big. So Harry's been winning a lot of turf races.
Yes.
Race number 3 begins the pick 5, Nation Low 10% takeout. It's a 50-cent investment. Scratch number 5, First Tequila. If I play the pick 5, I probably would be singling number 2, Superstar Swank. I pick at 261. What do you do?
Oh, I couldn't single him just because of the scratch mostly. There's a big scratch in here, First Tequila, and that takes some speed out of the mix. I can't trust that if there's only 2 speed horses in the field that they'll both go up and tie up on the front end. When there's a few in there, I'm going to count on some sort of decent pace. At least 2 of them are going to keep each other honest. But with the fact that Heavenly Conveyance is on the rail and Sam Says is all the way on the outside, if these 2 are supposed to duel, I could definitely picture one getting clear of the other because they're so far away from each other. I had to use at least one of them. I thought Heavenly Conveyance just has the most recent class, so I did use him as far as speed goes, but I used BL's Concerto, and I also used Superstar Swank in my pick 5. I know that Superstar Swank is going to be a favorite. I know that he's going to be the one to beat, especially getting back in with Minnesota breds, where he has had a good history, especially here, but well, that's the only place where he would run against min-breds, but Superstar Swank has been a little bit closer in some of the races where he's run better. I think that's a possibility with the scratch of First Tequila too. So while it does help some other speed horses, I think it helps him too. 2, 6, and 1 for me.
Yeah, Heavenly Conveyance with speed on the inside. Superstar Swank gets back in with his friends. Rhino to Grace, third off the layoff. Likewise for Got Ghosted. That scratch of First Tequila did not help Got Ghosted. Sam Says, I mean, this veteran has a bunch of speed, like Ange said.
He's a grumpy little thing.
And BL's Concerto, we're on the Larry Donlin watch. He has 999 victories in his career, and if BL's Concerto can play the right song, it would be 1,000 for one of the real kind-hearted people that we've known at Canterbury since we opened in '95. Let's head on over to race number 4 now, second part of the pick 5, and this begins the pick 4 on the final 4 live races tonight. And in this one, on the turf course, we have a couple making turf debuts, Begging for Trouble, Flying Martini. I ended up picking at 4-2-1. Angela's also on number 4, Burnt and Constantino Roman in the spot yesterday with Kevin. Kind of like a week and change before, sniffing out Wade Rarick starting to get hot. I think Joel Burnt is going to start tearing it up. I mean, like 4, 5, 6, 7 wins a week. He's had a really good week so far. I think it continues here. Why do you?
Yeah, no, he had a couple yesterday. I tried to get him home in the maiden later, but he's getting more horses into races, and just by virtue of that, a sharp trainer like that is going to pick up more wins. And I did take him with What's Your Objective, because there's some parts of this horse's form that are a little bit better than they look on paper. You know, he had 11 works coming into his first race. He was very professional and won like a good thing that day. But since that time, he had a couple of trips on our turf that weren't that great. He looked a little bit uncomfortable last July. He was third just behind the early pace. He really didn't get a chance to get out. And then that next run that he had in August, his stablemate backed right into him on the turn. He had to get out. He went 6 wide into the stretch. It looked like there was a part of the course he might not have wanted to be on. Point is, there's excuses for maybe why this horse didn't duplicate that very first effort that we saw up in Minnesota, and his subsequent race after that was taken off the turf. I'm more than willing to forgive that one. If he returns as the same horse that he did when he broke his maiden, and he can get some sort of clear run, and that's not out of the question because it's not a huge field, I think that we're going to see a very different version of this horse, and maybe even a step forward from that maiden winner. I'm just asking for a clear run. If he gets beat, he gets beat, but I still think that there's more than we've seen.
And your top 3?
4, 1, and 3. Rambling Gambling Man. I mean, he's on Jeff's door.
I know.
He's usually coming from a little bit out of it,
Yeah.
but I think he'll stay closer. Just I don't think the pace is going to be all that quick.
Yeah.
If he can find a way through. These were the 2 established turf horses. I mean, there's a couple of horses who were going to take money. They were entered on the turf, but that race was taken off the turf. We don't know if we have grass runners in Begging for Trouble or Flying Martini yet. And finding out at a shorter price, I guess I'd rather take a horse that I know likes our turf.
Well, I pick at 4-2-1, and yeah, I like What's Your Objective off some of the reasons I said earlier, but Rambling Gambling Man, a couple of seconds, running on the turf course, both of them here. And that's the key here is, as I think Angela intimated it, is this one gets back on the turf. So Rambling Gambling Man is going to run his best race of 2025 today. The question is, will it be good enough to beat some of the others in here? But I think you might get 4 or 5 to 1 on number 1 if you're thinking about trifectas. 4-2-1 here for me. Race number 5 is a cast of maidens. We have 2-year-olds. The babies get center stage. This one begins the pick 3 on the final 3 live races today. We have no scratches or rider changes. Cover your ears for a second, okay? Number 8, Nick's Honor, should be listed as a gelding. Mouse checked.
Poor guy.
The morning line favorite here is how about that, Kurt? And I'm going to do the paddock here with KG, chortling and busting up with cool jokes. This will be my paddock this evening, and I'm going to tell a little story about Kurt Sampson. May God rest his soul, the former chairman of this racetrack, and the number one reason we're racing in Minnesota. And he died. He died a few years ago. But the how about that part with Kurt, family members here know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll try to share it eloquently. I pick it 267, 267. I like Charlie Mac. And you take how about that, Kurt?
I did take how about that, Kurt. I know he's gonna face open company, but he's towards the outside, and that's what I like the most about it. I picked out 4 2-year-olds. They're 2-year-olds. Lots of different things can happen. I just took the outside drawn one of those 4. That was about as close as it got. I mean, they have one start or they've never started before. You don't know when they're going to take a giant step forward. What they do in the morning doesn't always translate to the afternoon. This is the race. If you want to hear the story from Paul and you want to see how they're acting, that would be the race to come down and check out the paddock. 2-year-olds will tell you how they're taking things, especially if it's their first time doing it. And you want a 2-year-old that is at least listening and behaving and going to run his race and not run it in the paddock. So definitely a good time to maybe make your way down here and check them out.
And you have a filly taking on the boys here. Number 6, Run Your Mouth. The filly taking on the boys. Lastly here on race 5. With the pick 5 and the baby pick 5 that you put out for the public. Who did you use in here?
I used those 4. I used 2,
4, right? Yeah.
2, 4, 6, and 7. Like I just said, 2-year-olds, a lot of things can happen. There could be some money going to a horse that's been showing something in the morning. Just a lot of little things can make a big difference, and it's only 5 furlongs. If a horse gets a bad start, goes wide on the turn, no matter who's actually best in that field in the long run, they need things to go their way today. So I'm going to give myself some options in the 5th.
2, 4, 6, and 7 in a 2-year-old race where they're debuting. That's all we need. The reason I asked is she put so much work into the pedigree and the percentages of the mom and the dad and first-time starters and the progeny and stuff like that. You put a lot of time into it, and generally are pretty good with those.
I try.
So I take a 2, 6, 7, and I'm not out here watching works. I'm not going through the lineage or the equity or lack thereof of Jilly Mac. What I'm doing is recognizing trainer Tim Padilla as the hottest trainer at the track, or one of them. And so now you got a trainer at 30%. All right, so how do you do with first-time starters? Okay, you've had 14 and won 36% of them with an ROI at nearly $3. That'll put Oracle right into his second fireball. So what's next with that? All right, Q, your main rider, is riding for you. What's after that? Workout pattern. What do we got here? 22 goes to 30, then 30 goes up to July 9, and we race on the 27th. Seems to be one missing in there. Like I said, I love how about that, Kurt. Just kidding. I'm going to take Charlie Mac, and I'm going to check him out in the paddock and to see if I can get a steam down here. 267, 267. Race 6 is the Sunday penultimate. It's on the turf course, and we go 5/8. No scratches, no rider changes here. You can smack a double on races 6 and 7, a little $20 double. Find 2 horses, one in the 6, one in the 7. Play it for $20, and then doubles are $2 or 1. Yeah, they're 2.
2.
So therefore, sucker pays $16 or whatever, and you got that thing for $20. I mean, that's good enough to eat. I pick it 163, 163. Angela, the analyst, is on Foxy Zora.
I am. I took it 6, 2, and 1. But I want to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Of the inside 2, and I would guess it would be one of those 2, who do you think will go favorite, Sunshine Fever or Red Regret? I would guess it would be Sunshine Fever.
That's a great question. Sunshine Fever was 11-1 last time. Red Regret was 4-1. Similar races. I say Red Regret. Plus, the burnt horses have a tendency to get bet. So therefore, when you got those people, the James O's of the world all around the country, hit and send right at the last second, it just seems to happen on the burn horses. I think Red Regret.
And I respect Red Regret. I know that she has speed. Last time, I mean, obviously something happened that day, but she's coming back at the same level. There's no drop. He has two horses in here, though, and I'm kind of curious about that because he has the one, and the 4 is owned by some other people, and there's a lot of new changes in play for that one. I stuck towards the outside because I just couldn't sink my teeth into any of the turf mares enough, so I'm going to try a filly that's going to go to it for the first time. And I'll talk a little bit more about it later in the angle
I can't
in
wait
depth.
to hear that, yeah.
Yeah, Cody Rosine.
Yep.
For first time turf, and it can be a dicey angle. He is 6 for his last 7, putting horses on the grass for the first time. And with this one being in the recent form that she's in and being able to show speed from the outside, I just took a chance that maybe she'll like it just as much as all her other Rosine teammates, and she might be in the right place to make her turf debut.
Yeah, I picked this one second, and then you told me that about an hour ago. So then now you take the layers here, all right? Was it 6 of 7 or 7 of 8?
6 for his last 7.
6 for the last 7.
Hopefully 7 for his last 8.
Right, first time on the turf. So what's next? Oh, the trainer himself, without all of that steam's 28% here, 18 on the year. That's fantastic. So then you go to what everybody else can see, first turf, 14 of them with winning 7 at an ROI of $10. Wow, that was very well sniffed out. I picked that one second. For me, Red Regret I don't love, but I do love the fact that from the inside, the filly's going to have to show speed. She has it. Went 21-4 in her debut, 46 and small change to the half with Elsie Clone at Hawthorne. So she gets back to the turf. And, 5-2, I don't know, might bet her to win. Probably not now, though, with that first turf steam, number 6. I'm using them both in the pick 5.
Very fair. I know. I'm with you.
163, Miss Angelina. 7th race is the final live race today. Then we're back on Wednesday. And we go Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday next week. CanterburyPark.com for information. No scratches, no rider changes here. Morning line favorite is I'll Make Bank. You and I both took that one. Honestly, I don't really believe in luck or karma. However, it's when I'm in the winter circle calling races, generally the last race on Sunday because of the kids clomp, those 2 kids races on the track. I swear Jose Silva wins 8 out of every 10 of those. I mean, I see him.
Wins a lot.
Well, yeah, but the last one on Sunday seemingly always wins. So I'm like, all right, I can make a case for this one, but then I got the Jose always in the circle when I'm there, steam. And Fausta it might be his main man, 368.
Yeah, if it's not this race for I'll Make Bank, what race is it? He's got a couple of first timers to his outside that are going to take money. I think at one point or another he's beaten just about everybody in here, or I'll Make Bank has been ahead of them at some point with his speed, and that's the big thing. When you get this horse out in front, it's just a matter of whether anybody will come and get him. I think he might have finally found the field where nobody is going to come get him. It's his second off a layoff, and perhaps all the pieces fall together today, and I wish Les a lot of luck.
And I just got a text from Kevin Gorg. The Nick Bargatze show is underway. He's chortling, absolutely loving his first joke. He says, his first joke, PA, I know, right? You'll love it. I spilled spot remover on my dog. Now he's gone. That's great. And Angela and I are here, and he's there. Have a good time, KG.
Glad you can get your ha-has, KG. Enjoy it.
Great job, Angela. Appreciate you. Hey, for everybody here in television, for Angela, I'm Paul Allen. Enjoy your stay at Canterbury. Make some money. And the runners are approaching the starting gate. A Sunday. Racing is provided by Apple Autos, Tri-State Bobcat, Jim Beam, John Deere, Quick Trip, Loeffler, Maker's Mark, Minnesota Lottery, Anheuser-Busch, and Pepsi. We welcome our friends from By the Yard to Canterbury Park tonight. They're at the gate. It is now race time. Welcome to those of you here at Canterbury. Thank you for your flexibility. Sunday racing at Canterbury commences at 1 p.m. Central, but due to the heat index and some super hot weather, moved the first race and the rest of the card to 6:10. So those of you joining us around the country, enjoy the 7. We have a 50-cent pick 5 a few races from now with a nation low takeout of 10%. Here in the first race, Kind Kismet is the next one to go in, right next to the Speedy Miss Stilettos. 6-pack pops, and the 6-pack popped nicely. Miss Stilettos won the break, but now is joined on the early lead by Pepper and Mint to the inside, trying to win 2 in a row. Haute Charlotte between them. Miss Stilettos dances along in third, 2 lengths from the lead. Then it's Kind Kismet, 5 out of it, and about the same margin clear from Competitive Nature and Empress Lorraine on the class drop, 12 lengths rearmost. Pepper and Mint spicy. Pepper and Mint cruising, opening up by 2.5 and doing it nicely. Haute Charlotte, an arrow second. Miss Stiletto ships all in, likewise for Kind Kismet. Then it's Competitive Nature. Empress Lorraine is running on, but far out of it. Pepper and Mint and Daylor Batios Lopez have 2:20 to get to go gate to wire. Still clear, but slowing down a tad. Miss Stilettos along with Haute Charlotte chasing, likewise for Kind Kismet. But Pepper and Mint has done enough. Pepper and Mint, salty. Number 2, Pepper and Mint, first. 105.93 the final time. Awaiting the other numbers. And then it becomes official. The numbers: 2, 5, 4, 6. Race 1, official. Race 2, firm turf course, rail 10 feet. Scratch 2, syntactic. 20 minutes. 6:35. Our first to prevail this steamy Sunday is Pepper and Mint. Welcome back to the winner's circle, Daylor Barrios Lopez. The winning owners, Windenwood Farm. The winning trainer, winning for a third time this week, Benny Woolley Jr. Pepper and Mint is a 3-year-old dark bay filly by Enticed out of Chocolate Licorice. Foaled in Minnesota by the winning owners, Windenwood Farms. Pops. And the six-pack pop nicely. Miss Stilettos won the break, but now is joined on the early lead by Pepper and Mint to the inside, trying to win 2 in a row. Hope Charlotte between them. Miss Stilettos dances along in third, 2 lengths from the lead. Then it's Kind Kismet, 5 out of it, and about the same margin clear from Competitive Nature. And Empress Lorraine on the class drop, 12 lengths rearmost. Pepper and Mint spicy. Pepper and Mint cruising, opening up by 2.5 and doing it nicely. Hote Charlotte and Arrow second. Miss Stiletto ships all in. Likewise for Kind Kismet. Then it's Competitive Nature. Empress Lorraine is running on, but far out of it. Pepper and Mint and Daylor Barrios Lopez have 2:20 to get to go. Gate to wire, still clear, but slowing down a tad. Miss Stilettos along with Hote Charlotte chasing. Likewise for Kind Kismet. But Pepper and Mint has done enough. Pepper and Mint, salty.
Pepper and Mint puts another win in her Barnes column for the week. Now we go on to race number 2. Not many changes tonight. We are still on firm turf. We still go a mile, but one of the 2 scratches comes up in here. Please take out the 2 Sync Tactic. He is going to be joining us a little later in the week. So we're left with 5 to compete with for this turf race. This is an optional claimer. Either they're for sale for $7,500 or they've started for $5,000. Again, the distance 1 mile. No further changes beyond the scratch of the 2. So I'm going to take a look at this one really through the pace presence, because there seemed to be a decent amount of it in here. Even though there aren't that many combatants, a lot of them want to be on the lead. And Words of Wisdom looked like one of those that might not be setting the pace, but would be in close attendance to it. He hasn't been on the turf since last May. That's kind of the big question with this one. Words of Wisdom's already tried the turf 7 times. He has yet to come up with a win, does have a second place finish, but he has a pedigree that packs a wallop, and it's definitely been showing through with some of his long dirt races, which is really what he's bred to do well. But while he's running this well, why not try the turf? This spot came up nicely. It fits him very well, and if he is going to show some life on the turf, one would think that this spot would be a very good place to show it. Your current favorite is the 3 to 5 Mr. Muldoon, looking to add another win to his tab on our turf course. He looks very nice down here for start number 3 of 2025. He is 4 for 7 over our turf course, and almost all of that work is been on the lead, making them come and run him down, and they don't do it very often or very easily. Wanted to get a look at Mr. Muldoon in the paddock, and my goodness, he looks just as good as he did last time when he won by over 3 lengths. He did so at odds on that day. That's the one problem with betting Mr. Muldoon. It doesn't pay a whole bunch, so you got to find a different way to use this horse in wagers, and there are some options in here, but if you're just going with the straight up 3 to 5, that's probably about as good as you're going to get. Supreme Dominance right next door ran 3rd last time, and that was only start number 2 on the grass. And remember, some horses like dirt, some horses like turf. This horse has been versatile enough to handle a few different elements thrown at him, including a sloppy track, a synthetic surface. Wouldn't think that our turf would be much of a hindrance, as, again, that 3rd place finish would put him in line to be a contender in this race late. It's just that he had a lot to do in the stretch last time around because he frankly got outrun in the early stages. I think that the pace won't be much slower today, but if Supreme Dominance gets some sort of big duel up front, this will be the one that's coming late, and right now he is 6 to 1. Robo could be a part of things on the pace. That seems to be where he's most comfortable. He nearly took a 2nd field in a row, wire to wire last time, and Robo just came up a neck short to Wellswort, who took every inch of the stretch and every last yard to run this horse down. He only beat him by a neck. Leslie Mowing has been aboard for both of those last 2 good efforts, and if the other 2 don't break on top, or if they don't really like things, if Words of Wisdom doesn't take to the turf, this horse could be in a very good spot at a good price up front, and if they do get into a fight, Robo is up for it in the stretch. Again, he won a stretch duel a couple starts ago, and Robo is a much better price than Mr. Muldoon at 6 to 1. The outside horse, Chromed Impulse, is trying for 3 wins in a row. He gets some more real estate today, though. His last win did come on our turf course, and he was rolling with very good momentum late to run down St. Charles that day. St. Charles also came back to win with a very impressive effort. No reason to think that this horse can't take his talents back around 2 turns. He's been another very versatile runner, big money earner, and with the outside running, he and Betty Jo Williamson scope things out on the front end and adjust as needed. You have 7 minutes to bet race number 2. Again, scratch the 2 Sync Tactic, but Win, Play, Show, Exactas, Tri Supers, Doubles, and Dollar Pick 3s are all available for your wagering pleasure. They're track bound for the 2nd.
Best bugler in the land, Sir Leonard Dykert. Here on this Sunday evening, race 2, firm turf course, scratch 2, syntactic. Just 5 minutes. The horses are approaching the starting gate. They've reached the gate. It's race time. Mr. Muldoon with the flashy turf record, 3-5. Chromed Impulse, 3.5 to 1. Mr. Muldoon, moving him. Supreme Dominance, moving him. Robo, Chromed Impulse. All right. And they're racing. Sharp break for Robo. Robo outbroke the field. Mr. Muldoon in search of 2 in a row is good to go. Words of Wisdom looking to win 5 in a row and for the first time on the turf, right behind those leading 2. Then we come to Chromed Impulse. That one is 5 to 1, right in the thick of the race, part of that second brigade of 2 and about 3 lengths from the lead. The one in last is Supreme Dominance, a very, very reasonable early pace that is intensifying with Robo, and Robo and Leslie Mowing want the lead by themselves, and they take it by 1. Mr. Muldoon relegated to second, joined by Words of Wisdom, and outside of those 2 is Chromed Impulse, wide around the turn, but definitely on the bit and good to go. Then it's about 3-4 lengths behind that to Supreme Dominance. 5 covered by 5, and they have 4 to go, and they're chasing the 5. It's Robo. Robo still by 1. Words of Wisdom and Chromed Impulse neatly have Mr. Muldoon sequestered off the heels of the speed, and Supreme Dominance is 4 lengths from the front. Could be a humdinger. They're approaching the top of the stretch. Robo is 11 to 1, and Robo and long shot Leslie trying to trigger a big price. Mr. Muldoon still waiting for the light of day. Words of Wisdom was just in very tightly and shuffled back to last. Robo leads it by an inch. Outside, Chromed Impulse finishing sweetly. Supreme Dominance between them at 14 to 1. Supreme Dominance living up to the name. Chromed Impulse trying to win 3 in a row. Chromed Impulse and Supreme Dominance stuck out the neck, and 1 is the longest shot on the board. We have an answer. Result of the photo shows the winner is number 4, Supreme Dominance. Chromed Impulse second. HOF Nick Goodwin swept the exacta. 4-6-3-5. Just another Canterbury Park turf upset. It's official. Supreme Dominance, $30 for a $2 win wager. Exacta pays $58. Superfecta, $18.88. Heavy favorite ran third. Trifecta, $50.45. Our first double, 2-4, $81. Race 3, fast main track, just 18 minutes from now. Scratch number 5, first Tequila. The third race begins the Canterbury Park Pick 5 with a nation low takeout of 10%. It's only 50 cents. Play the Pick 5. Paid about $1,300 last night for 50 cents. And it begins right around 7 o'clock. Nice little heat for the Thunderstride group. They swept the top two, and the winner, Supreme Dominance and Constantino Roman. Supreme Dominance is owned by Thunderstride Racing, and the winning trainer, Nick Goodwin. And they're racing. Sharp break for Robo. Robo outbroke the field. Mr. Muldoon in search of 2 in a row is good to go. Words of Wisdom looking to win 5 in a row and for the first time on the turf, right behind those leading 2. Then we come to Chromed Impulse. That one is 5-1, right in the thick of the race, part of that second brigade of 2 and about 3 lengths from the lead. The one in last is Supreme Dominance, a very, very reasonable early pace that is intensifying with Robo and Leslie Mowing want the lead by themselves, and they take it by 1. Mr. Muldoon relegated to second, joined by Words of Wisdom, and outside of those 2 is Chromed Impulse, wide around the turn, but definitely on the bit and good to go. Then it's about 3-4 lengths behind that to Supreme Dominance. 5 covered by 5, and they have 4 to go, and they're chasing the 5. It's Robo still by 1. Words of Wisdom and Chromed Impulse neatly have Mr. Muldoon sequestered up the heels of the speed, and Supreme Dominance is 4 lengths from the front. Could be a humdinger. They're approaching the top of the stretch. Robo is 11-1, and Robo and long shot Leslie trying to trigger a big price. Mr. Muldoon still waiting for the light of day. Words of Wisdom was just in very tightly and shuffled back to last. Robo leads it by an inch. Outside, Chromed Impulse finishing sweetly. Supreme Dominance between them at 14-1. Supreme Dominance living up to the name. Chromed Impulse trying to win 3 in a row. Chromed Impulse and Supreme Dominance stuck out.
We're 11 minutes away from race number 3, and that means that it's 10% takeout, 50-cent pick 5 time. We just have the only scratch of the sequence in here. The rest of it is clean, but that scratch was key. So I had to change around this leg of it and go 1, 2, and 6. Heavenly Conveyance is one that I added in because he has speed, and with some of the pace removed from the mix, he becomes double dangerous, and that's why I did go 1, 2, and 6. Now, I did go just 1 and 4. What's Your Objective is my top pick in there, but I had to use Rambling Gambling Man because these two have shown the most affinity for the turf thus far in their careers. I figure this race fits them the best. I think I can use those two and get into the 2-year-old race, which is coming up in race number 5. 2, 4, 6, and 7 for me. How about that, Kurt? Is my top pick, but there are some very talented youngsters to his inside. Any one little thing goes wrong in a 2-year-old race, you want to have your bases covered. So those 4 will do it for me, and I just go to Sunshine Fever and Foxy Zora in race number 6. Foxy Zora is my top selection in there. She's trying the turf for the first time. It is rolling dice a bit, but she has some breeding, and she definitely has a barn that knows how to get them ready to race on the turf first out. I'll Make Bank is my single in this one. That's the 3 horse in the last. He's going to be a very short price. He's going to be a very popular single. So if you are going to take the next 10 minutes and make a ticket, if you can find a way to beat him, that is one of the best ways to get paid. I just thought that today is going to be his day, so I made that $24 ticket for you. Now, 10 minutes away from that pick 5, other options are, of course, available in here. You got pick 3s, doubles, exactas, tries, supers. You have 6 to pick from. And like I said, some of the pace is out of here with First Tequila, so we have a 6-horse group. And Heavenly Conveyance and perhaps the outside horse Sam Says are the 2 that probably benefited the most from the scratch. I don't love Heavenly Conveyance being on the rail. I kind of preferred him in some of the outside posts that he's been in recently, but he's been effective either way. It's keeping himself in the race, and that's very important. It's maybe the distance and just having some other speed that would work against him, but Alonso Quinones is going to ride today. Maybe he'll get a bit more out of him early. Still has his work cut out for him if he wants to get clear and get comfortable, but if somebody is going to duel and hold on, I thought it was probably him rather than Sam Says. Superstar Swank next door should not be that far behind. Paul and I both agree on this horse, and he is your current 8-5 favorite. But Superstar Swank is better a little bit, it seems, when he can keep himself in range of the pace. There have been some races this spring and even last year where he's been pretty badly outrun on the front end. When he is close, he can keep himself in the race and really blast off at the end of things. That's sort of what I envision today. It appears to be what a lot of people envision for him, as he is your favorite and continues to be through the betting. Now, Rhino de Grace right next door, I always thought might want a little bit more distance. They put him in some longer races, but when all was said and done, he broke his maiden sprinting. So they're going to keep him with that for now. He does have a couple of races out of the way, but he was still just making inches in those rather than making a big dent at the end of things. And with some of the pace removed from here, I don't know if that's really going to make things go his way. Same could apply to Got Ghosted, but this one has a touch more speed to him. It's just usually his speed is more effective either on the turf, going long, or both. I mean, he hasn't won a turf race, but he has been able to carry his speed, and that seems to be what he wants to do. He wants to keep himself in the race. He and Superstar Swank might get a pretty similar price. You're getting a much better price on this one right now, who looks all right down in the paddock. 7-1 as opposed to 8-5. I mean, definitely that one should catch your eye, but I think that maybe he has a little bit more to do this year, and I would take him maybe a race or 2 down the road. Biel's Concerto already has 5 starts behind him. He broke his maiden in Nebraska, though. He is a Minnesota bred that didn't win up here. He had knocked on the door a few times last year, and I think that mostly the outside positioning should help him. Rodriguez is back in the irons. He was aboard him last time, and they did get beaten by Arjun for Cars, who really has come to life this year in 2025. But Biel's Concerto has seen some of these in the past and seen this relative level of competition a number of times. He just needs to make up a couple of lengths on them. Nobody said that today won't be the day. He goes 3-1. We wish Larry Donlin luck with Biel's Concerto, as he is taking some money right now and could get a pretty good pace pressing trip from the outside, because one would guess that Sam Says to his right is going to clear him early and go make things hot up front. There is Sam Says. He and Zeke Lara are going to try for another one and make it 2 in a row in the win column. 4 of his 7 career scores have come here at Canterbury. They've just come against a little bit softer competition in recent times. Nice to see, though, that he is doing well enough to bump him up into Minnesota Bred Allowance Company in the upcoming 3rd. That's the 6 of them for you. There's now 7 minutes to post till the 3rd. Once again, win, plays, show, exactas, tries, supers, doubles, pick 3s, and the 10% takeout pick 5. All coming at you in 6 minutes. Now they're headed to the track.
Old Dizzy Gillespie brings them onto the track for the third. It's a fast main track. Thank you, Dizzy. We have all your albums. Scratch number 5, First Tequila. 5 minutes. It's race time. Into the gate for race number 3 this beautiful Sunday evening at Canterbury Park. They load this one adjacent to Boardwalk Kitchen and Bar. So you have a good 20, 30 people strewn across the chain-linked fence about 20 feet from the starting gate as Heavenly Conveyance moves in. Wonderful, wonderful viewing opportunity for those over at Boardwalk. Sam says, last in. Here they come. They're racing, and they broke in an absolutely perfect line. From the inside, Heavenly Conveyance looking for that early lead from the one spot. Heavenly Conveyance is fast and puts the blue blinkers in front. Challenged by Rhino to Grace, third off the layoff and good to go. About a length and a half, maybe 2 clear from Superstar Swank, who's advancing, taking third. And to the inside of Sam Says, trying to win 2 in a row, and it would have to be from off the pace. Got Ghosted, 5 lengths from the lead into the inside of BL's Concertos in the clear. The field is covered by 8 as they approach the top of the stretch. And number 1 is numero uno at this point. It's Heavenly Conveyance. Heavenly Conveyance from Rhino to Grace, and Sam Says on the 3 wide side. Sam Says off the pace, Resurgent. Superstar Swank sneaks through to the inside, and it's BL's Concerto. Got Ghosted is running on late. Here comes Superstar Swank. Superstar Swank attacks Heavenly Conveyance, who gamely fights back. Superstar Swank, flashy. Number 2, Superstar Swank, first in 110.29. Well done. It's 2-1 and a by-the-yard photo for third. The numbers 2-1, 7, 4, third race official. Trifecta paid $6.20. It was chalk all odds. The first pick 3 today, $95 for a buck. The fourth race takes us back to the unpredictability of the CBY turf course. One turf race tonight, winner paid $30. No scratches. Fourth race courtesy of Jim Beam and Busch Light. We also thank our official renovation partner, touchdowntile.com. Superstar Swank finds the winner's enclosure with Eduardo Gallardo. John Mentz is the winning owner, and the winning trainer, Mac Robertson. Fourth race just 17 minutes from now. We're speedy this Sunday evening. Don't get shut out. They're racing, and they've broken an absolutely perfect line from the inside. Heavenly Conveyance looking for that early lead from the one spot. Heavenly Conveyance is fast and puts the blue blinkers in front. Challenged by Rhino de Grace, third off the layoff and good to go. About a length and a half, maybe two clear from Superstar Swank, who's advancing, taking third. And to the inside of Sam Says, trying to win two in a row, and it would have to be from off the pace. Got Ghosted, 5 lengths from the lead into the inside of BL's Concertos in the clear. The field is covered by 8 as they approach the top of the stretch. And number 1 is numero uno at this point. It's Heavenly Conveyance. Heavenly Conveyance from Rhino de Grace, and Sam Says on the 3 wide side. Sam Says off the pace, Resurgent. Superstar Swank sneaks through to the inside. Then it's BL's Concerto. Got Ghosted is running on late. Here comes Superstar Swank. Superstar Swank attacks Heavenly Conveyance, who gamely fights back. Superstar Swank, flashy.
Here we are, race number 4. Pick 5 started out with the chalk, but if you're still alive, maybe you can work a little magic here in the next legs. And this race could provide an upset. You take a look at the tote board, and pretty evenly bet right now. Let's look at the field here. We'll start with the 1. Brucey Rican trains Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. He's been trying to get this Minnesota bred, and this is an allowance, a restricted allowance race for Minnesota breds going 1 mile on the turf. Bruce has been trying to get Ramblin' Gamblin' Man back onto the grass. Now, he's never won on the turf, but he's run his best races there. However, the last 2 times he's run, entered in a turf race, weather took it off the turf. So he may relish this, and he's going to get a nice trip from the inside, and you've got Jermaine Bridgemahan, the turf master, aboard. This is one to look at for sure. I know Angela is bullish about Ramblin' Gamblin' Man. 6-1, huge overlay. The 2 is to Ghost. Martin Escobar is the trainer. Hasn't run since June 14th. Victor Santiago aboard. You know, Martin Escobar is the trainer. He was a jockey at first. He worked for Hall of Fame trainer Burnell Roan for a number of years. Burnell retired last year. Martin kind of took things over. Burnell was in town visiting from Florida. Said he stopped by Martin's barn, which of course he would, and said it looked better than when it was his barn. So that's a compliment coming from a Hall of Famer. Martin having a very good meet, bright future for a new trainer. To Ghost, could be up against it here. 9-2 morning line, 9-2 on the board right now. Will track, has never won on the turf, 0 for 6, but should get that kind of press and pounce trip, and will be pressing right behind the 3, begging for trouble. Tony Ringsdorf has a speed ball here. This begging for trouble wintered down in Texas. It ran against Open Company in allowance races and ran really well. Last time out in the mud on a race that was taken off the turf, set the pace, got caught late. I expect begging for trouble with top jack Harry Hernandez to be on the lead. He's 2-1 right now. My pick is the 4. What's your objective? Joel Burns, the trainer, has not run since August of last year. So we're looking at an 11-month layoff here. You have to take a little leap of faith. But if you look at what's your objectives, form last year fits right in with these, and is 5-2 right now in the betting. Tough to say which way those odds are going to go, but I think we'll get a really good trip on a horse who has some sharp workouts. And Roman rides, and remember, he brought in that long shot in race number 2. The 5 is Flying Martini, first time on the turf. Cody Rosine trains. Gallardo aboard. The mother, Shaboom, she was a game race mare, won a couple times on the turf. I think Flying Martini will like the grass and has some speed, so might give begging for trouble a little bit of a challenge early on. On the outside, don't sleep on Gabriel's Legend. If you're trying to find a big price, double-digit odds, go back and look at last year's form on this horse. Ignore the Fauner races, didn't like the bull ring. Ignore the last race in the mud and look back at last year's form against similar company. This horse hit the board a couple of times, will come charging, and will be double-digit odds. I'm going to try the 4. What's your objective here? Get things going in my pick 4. Make your way to the windows. Horses are out of the walking ring, onto the racetrack. Quick post time in 6 minutes.
Sir Sweat, Lynn Dykert brings them onto the track, and then to a firm turf course for race number 4. Pick 4 wagering on the final 4 live races this Sunday night at Canterbury Park. To the gate 4 minutes from now. Don't get shut out.
The fourth race is in 4 minutes, but a little later on, we've got a sixth race with a couple of Ringstorff runners, a couple of Burnt runners, and some horses without a whole bunch of history sprinting on the turf. That's what they have to do in race number 6. So we're looking for a little different angle with the 6th horse, Voxy Zora. Now, if you look in daily racing form online, you can find past performances right here. That first page, when you load drf.com, you're going to want to go to handicapping and PPs and pick out the date. If you go to today's races, you can open up our 6th race and you'll find something that looks like this. The 6th horse in the 6th race is Voxy Zora. Now, she has never tried the turf. You can find that up here in the upper right-hand corner. No turf starts for her, but she did just win her last race. Her trainer is Cody Rosine, and that is where we find the angle for her today. If you look and click on his name, you just click it right there, it'll come up with this. This is all of his starts over the last 5 years. You can see him counted up over here, 830 in total. We don't want to look at all of those, so you filter them down. You pull this up, you look for first-time turf. That's what we're doing with Voxy Zora. Bam, that's what you get. These are his numbers, 28%, but this is what we're looking at right down here. He is 6 for his last 7, and 5 of those were at Canterbury Park. That's an angle you want to pay attention to in using Voxy Zora in all of your plays in the 6th. She's never tried it before, but the barn knows what they're doing when they're putting horses on the grass, and that is the 6th, Voxy Zora in the 6th.
Into the gate they go. It's race time.
Get in there, huh? Get in there.
Elite teamwork right there at the gate. Two back and one out. It is Flying Martini in his turf debut. And the racing popped as one. Ramblin' Gamblin' Man broke okay, but now takes off the pace. Flying Martini in his quest for 2 in a row. And in his turf debut, wins the run to the wire for the first time. Flying Martini flying along, leading it by 2.5. In second, begging for trouble. Also in his turf debut, he's to the outside of DeGhost, who's only 3 lengths from the lead. 2.5, 3 behind that. What's your objective? And what your objective is now 6 lengths behind Flying Martini, who runs away by 2. Then we come to Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, and the one last is Gabriel's Legend. They race in single file as they head up the Canterbury Park barn side, and they're still chasing Flying Martini. Eddie G trying to win 2 in a row. Flying Martini leads it by 1. In second, begging for trouble. Cutting that margin stride by stride. It's close to 1/2. DeGhost creeping up to the inside, begging for trouble. Outside of that, what's your objective? That one will be wide around the turn, but only 2.5 out of it. Then it's Ramblin' Gamblin' Man and Gabriel's Legend, and all 6 are covered by 5. And they approach the top of the stretch. Flying Martini still flying along the lead. Flying Martini runs away from DeGhost and is perhaps going to be joined by What's Your Objective. Rider has the gold helmet cover. Outside of that, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, but Flying Martini has been handled spectacularly. Football field to go. Flying Martini in the turf debut. Flying Martini has left them punch drunk. Number 5, Flying Martini first, 137.48. Hold them all. It's 5-4-1 and a 4th place photo. DeGhost 4th. Race number 4 is official. The first pick 4, pay 200 and change. First pick 4 tonight, paid exactly $239.25. Pick 3 from race 2, $66. Race number 5 commences the pick 3 on the final 3 live races this week. Fast main track. Number 8, Nick's Honor, should be listed as a gelding. Now take note of the minutes to post. We only have 17 minutes before race number 5. Only 17 minutes before race number 5. And race time is right around 7:50. as Flying Martini receives that well-deserved bath for his toil. It behooves us to remind you, racing at Canterbury Park is provided in part by Pepsi and John Deere. We also thank Mr. Pig Smokery, which is right across the street with some succulent barbecue. Thank you, Mr. Pig Smokery. We're just about 15 minutes away from race number 5. Flying Martini has won 2 in a row. Likewise for jockey Eduardo Gallardo. Flying Martini is owned by Shaken Not Stirred Stable. The winning trainer, Cody Rosane. Flying Martini is a 3-year-old bay gelding by a stern out of Shaboom. Bred in Minnesota by the winning owner, Dorothy Urban. 2-year-olds 15 minutes from now. Thank you. And the racing popped as 1. Ramblin' Gamblin' Man broke okay, but now takes off the pace. Flying Martini in his quest for 2 in a row and in his turf debut wins the run to the wire for the first time. Flying Martini flying along, leading it by 2.5. In second, begging for trouble, also in his turf debut. He's to the outside of DeGhost, who's only 3 lengths from the lead. 2.5, 3 behind that. What's your objective? And what's your objective is now 6 lengths behind Flying Martini, who runs away by 2. Then we come to Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, and the one and last is Gabriel's Legend. They race in single file as they head up the Canterbury Park barnside, and they're still chasing Flying Martini. Eddie G trying to win 2 in a row. Flying Martini leads it by 1. In second, begging for trouble, cutting that margin stride by stride. It's close to a half. DeGhost creeping up to the inside of begging for trouble. Outside of that, what's your objective? That one will be wide around the turn, but only 2.5 out of it. Then it's Rambling Gambling Man and Gabriel's Legend, and all 6 are covered by 5. And they approach the top of the stretch. Flying Martini still flying along with the lead. Flying Martini runs away from DeGhost and is perhaps going to be joined by What's Your Objective? Rider has the gold helmet cover. Outside of that, Rambling Gambling Man, but Flying Martini has been handled spectacularly. Football field to go. Flying Martini in the turf debut. Flying Martini has left them punch drunk. All right, how about some hot 2-year-old action here from the paddock at Canterbury Park? It's Paul Allen filling in for Jeff Madej, who was filling in for Angela Herman, and we're all filling in for Kevin Gorg. And we welcome you to CBY 2-year-olds. What's going on, Harry Hernandez? And you'll notice our post times and time on the track is Eddie G trying to win 3 in a row. Good luck here, brother. We've shortened them because if you look on the horizon, those of you here in Shakopee to the west, we have some very ominous skies. So the suggestion, quite honestly, is everybody should just hunker down here, and if of age, just stay in the casino and play blackjack till 6 in the morning. Or if you want to bet horses, maybe Aussie A, B, C, D. Mouse can help you with that. We hopefully can help you here with some 2-year-olds. I pick at 267. Number 1 is Perfect Gamble. This one has experience. Not a lot of them do. Congratulations to Nick Goodwin, by the way. My man took down a nice stakes race in Florence, Kentucky at Ellis Park, and then triggered a turf upset earlier today with the dominance horse. So Perfect Gamble is going for a hot barn right now, 6-1. Charlie Mac, that's my selection. You have a trainer who's about 30% this season, first-time starters. About $3 on the ROI. I mean, that right there is good enough to eat, 8-5. Lyman is number 3. This one also debuts. Vicanson, high-end horseman, very good horseman. This is a long shot I would consider in my trifectas. Igniting Embers, Tony Rengstorff has this one. This one starts for the second time and took some action in the debut, going off at 5-1. And Igniting Embers, generously priced here at 20-1. Platinum Express is number 5. This one starts for the 4th time and is looking to get over the hump here against a fair amount of first-time starters and horses who have raced fewer races. And Phantom Express, Carlo Lopez rides this one, 17-1. Then you get to Run Your Mouth. This is the filly taking on the boys. Daniel Vergara rides this one. And for Isaiah Ortiz, who is the owner and trainer, Isaiah's done pretty well this season. Run Your Mouth, the filly trying to beat the boys, 12-1. Number 8, Nick's Honor. This one is listed as a gelding, or should be a gelding, and we know because Mouse checked. And finally, number 7, how about that Kurt? How about that Kurt? Wearing the boss's colors, the red and white of the Sampson family. Kurt Sampson, may God rest your soul. He was the chairman of the racetrack here for multiple decades, and we would not be racing in Minnesota without Kurt Sampson, who always had a way of not properly listening to questions, and his only response would be, how about that? How about that? Thus the name, How About That Kurt? That one is 3-2. Race number 5, good luck.
Please note, due to incoming weather, we have moved up our post time. We are just over 1 minute to post. Sir Leonard Dykert, always an outstanding performance to bring them onto the track for race number 5. Again, please note that we are moving the post of this race up to try to get it in before incoming weather. In this upcoming 5th race, win, place, show, exacta, trifecta, superfecta, double wagering, and dollar pick 3s all available. Again, with very minimal time to post, they will be heading straight to the gate. Get your bets in now.
It's post time. Two-year-olds into the gate. Igniting Embers goes in. One out. Stand by for the Santiago Tranquilino Birthday Classic. And Phantom Express pops out of the gate fastest in the Santiago Tranquilino Junior Birthday Classic. And it's Phantom Express trying to disappear into the winner's circle. After that, how about that, Kurt? How about that, Kurt? Right alongside that 5 and about 2.5 lengths clear from the filly Run Your Mouth. After that, we come back to Igniting Embers at a big price, 5-6 lengths from the lead. After that, Perfect Gamble about 10 lengths out of it, about to be overtaken by Charlie Mac. The first timers on the move. Charlie Mac's running in quickly. Then we come back to Nick's Humor, and that one is far clear from Lyman. And they come storming down the Canterbury Park stretch in the Santiago Tranquilino Junior Birthday Classic. How about that, Kurt? How about that? How about that, Kurt, from Phantom Express and Run Your Mouth? How about that, Kurt? May God rest your soul, Kurt Sampson. In the winner's circle, how about that, Kurt? And Harry Hernandez. The winning owners, Sampson Racing Stable, and the winning trainer, Tony Rengstorff. How about that, Kurt? Is a 2-year-old brown colt by Motown. Out of Double B Sting, with a bell ring, bred in Minnesota by the Sampson family. Thank you for the bell ring. That means at least another $100 to our Canterbury Park Chapel Ministry program, which partners with Backside Programs to help everybody on the backside. Don't forget to stop by the bookkeeper. Race 6, 18 minutes from now. Santiago Tranquilino Birthday Classic. And Phantom Express pops out of the gate fastest in the Santiago Tranquilino Jr. Birthday Classic. And it's Phantom Express trying to disappear into the winner's circle. After that, how about that, Kurt? How about that, Kurt? Right alongside that 5 and about 2.5 lengths clear from the filly Run Your Mouth. After that, we come back to Igniting Embers at a big price, 5-6 lengths from the lead. After that, Perfect Gamble, about 10 lengths out of it, about to be overtaken by Charlie Mac. The first timers on the move. Charlie Mac's running in quickly. Then we come back to Nick's Humor, and that one is far, far clear from Lyman. And they come storming down the Canterbury Park stretch in the Santiago Tranquilino Jr. Birthday Classic. How about that, Kurt? How about that? How about that, Kurt, from Phantom Express and Run Your Mouth? How about that, Kurt? May God rest your soul, Kurt Sampson. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. We are canceling our final 2 live races due to a significant amount of lightning in the area, and it continues to head our way. So, in the best interest of the horses and the people and Canterbury Park, we are canceling our final 2 live races. Stand by for payoffs involving all of the wagers tied into races 6 and 7. Obviously, with races 6 and 7, refunds available immediately for win, play, show, exacta, trifecta, and superfecta wagers. Likewise for doubles, beginning here in race number 6. Stand by. Let's give mutuals a little while to calculate all of this, and we will have pertinent information for you shortly. Our final 2 live races have been canceled due to a significant amount of lightning adjacent to Canterbury Park in the Shakopee area. Alrighty, here's the deal. This will be a two-part message. The first part of it will be what is going to be paid and or refunded, and then within 5-10 minutes or so, we'll have the payouts for you. So with the final two live races canceled, we go back to race number 3. That began the pick 5. The pick 5 will pay like this: 2 and 5, with 5, with 7, with all, and all. So therefore, we'll get the payout for you shortly. That's the pick 5 beginning in race 3. The pick 4 that began in race 4 will pay 5 with 7 with all, and the pick 3 that began in race 4, 5 with 7 with all. And the race 5 pick 3 is refunded. So if you took an L in race 5, find the ticket. It's refunded. Pick 3, refunded, the one that began in race 5. The daily double from, how about that, Kurt, will pay 7 with all. That's the race 5 daily double. We'll have the payouts for you shortly. If you missed that earlier announcement about the refund and what's going to be paid once we calculate the payoffs, if you miss that, it's scrolling on the big screen in the infield and television monitors. Payouts on TV monitors and or the big screen in the infield. Pick 5, $8.45. Once again, that race 5, pick 3 was refunded. The pick 3 from race number 4, 5-7 all, $7.20. The race 4, pick 4, 5 with 7 with all, $3 and change. And the race 5 double for $2, 7 with all, $3. Be safe. Talk Wednesday.